Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Creating Hanley. I am Kimberly here at Creating Hanley, and we are making Dresden plates today. Or, I don't know, Dresden plates, but we're going to make these cool templates? Not templates. I guess Dresden plates. I guess that's what these are called. Yeah, so anyway, we are making this shape out of fabric. This shape out of fabric today. So, a couple of days ago, I got a fat quarter pack from just Walmart, actually, is where I got it. I got a fat quarter pack from Walmart. And I think it only had it has I don't know, maybe six fat quarters in the package. And I just cut 5-inch blocks. So, you can see right here, here's my, sort of, if you can see right here, don't mind the stuff in the back. The fat quarters I just stacked on top of each other, and then I sliced off the edge so everything was lined up. And I just made my own charm packs. So if you have charm packs, use charm packs. They're 5-inch squares. So these are 5-inch squares. So I just cut 5-inch squares out of fat quarters. And like I said, I think maybe there's 6 in here. I guess I should have counted before I started. 5? There's 5. So I layered 5 fabrics on top of each other, and that is what I'm using to make this Dresden plate project. Now, I'm going to bring this over to show you what project I am working on and why I'm using the Dresden. But we're going to do one step at a time, and I'm going to show you how to make these little guys in order to make this project. So let me unfold this for you. I'll bring this down and... Da-da-da. So, we're making this turkey. Now, obviously, it's not, I didn't sew it down yet on this fabric because I don't think I want to use this color fabric. But I just wanted to show you, this is the project that I'm working on. So, we're going to make the Dresden. This is what we're going to do today. We're going to learn how to make this blade or this feather, because these are tail feathers. So, we're going to do this and put it in this project later. So I'm still working on this project right now. So we're just going to set this aside so you know what we're going to do next. But you can use this for a lot of different things. So let's get over to the cutting surface and let me show you what I'm doing. So I already have some of these sewn together. And what I'm doing here with this, I want to make sure these stay in the correct line. Now these are 5-inch squares. So I'm going to go back to use my Dresden tool. Now this one, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but I just happen to have this Easy Quilting Dresden 8-inch. So you can see it's an 8-inch unit. Now you can make, before I bought this, I made mine out of cardboard. So I'll show you my huge Dresden that I made out of cardboard. And I think somewhere along in the past I have the instructions, the video on how I made this. But this is 4.5 inches across, 2.25 inches to the center line. This is 2 inches down at the bottom. I don't know how long this is. It's 11 inches tall. So that's what I did for this. As you can see, you can't see through this cardboard though, but this is what I started with. I've just made my own Dresden template, and then I, purchased one that's plastic, because the thing with cardboard is that when you cut alongside it, you can easily cut the cardboard. So, which I did a few times. And then I switched to plastic, and if you cut into the plastic, you can nick the plastic, but at least it holds its shape a lot better. So anyway, let's get to how to make these little blades. So I'm just going to line up the 5-inch mark on my Dresden template, my plastic Dresden template here, and put that at the top, and make sure that, let's face it towards you, and make sure that the edge, so I'm going to get two cuttings out of this. So make sure that the edge is at the edge of here, but not so that you can cut. So you want to make sure that this lines up at the bottom and it lines up at the top, and that the side you have, do you see what I'm saying? Like, you don't overhang it. So if you overhang it, see how that works? That's not going to work. So make sure you bring it over. You have enough space. Don't put it in the middle, because you can only get one cut out of this. You want 2 cuts. So if I have 5 pieces of fabric, I'll have 10 of these 5-inch Dresdens when I'm done. Okay? So slide it over, but not all the way over. Just make sure you have enough that you can put your blade here, and then slice through that. And now try to keep that in place. Now, if not, now I have to move it because I'm right-handed. Now, when you move it very carefully. Or if you have a twirly mat, use your twirly mat. I call them twirly mats, whatever those mats are that move, that twirl around, you know, the Lazy Susans. And then there you go there. Now this one's done. This is usable. All of these are cut all the way through. Now I have my Dresden halfway done. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now you have to flip it over to get this to be the right angle. So now you flip it over, put your 5-inch up here, line the cut edge along there, and then make sure the bottom is square, the top is square. And then very carefully cut through all those. Take away the excess. This is scrap now. This goes in my scrap bin, which I will be using later. In fact, I'm going to save a couple of these for my turkey feet. So what I've been doing was saving 2 of the same color for the turkey legs in the next project in the next video. But I'm just going to set those aside for my scrap bin. And now you have these blades right here, okay? So what you're going to do in order to make this is turn them inside out. Now, if you want to, I'm not inside out, but turn them, all you have to do is fold these together. So fold this, corner matches, and now if you want to, you can fold it completely in half so that it is perfectly in half, and you can crease it if you want. I don't do that. I used to iron these flat, but you don't have to do that. If you're in the beginning, I did, just to make sure that everything was squared up and perfect. Now I just make sure that this edge, this is the top now. So I folded it in half. And this corner and this edge are perfectly lined up. And then once you do that, this edge up here is perfectly lined up too. So you can see that. Now all I'm going to do is take it to the machine, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance down from the top. So this is the top. You fold it over, top, fold it in half. So a 1/4 inch seam allowance at the top. Okay, so you already know how to do that, but let's take it to the machine and make sure this is perfect. And you might want to use a smaller stitch. So you line it up with your 1/4 inch on your presser foot, your 1/4 inch measurement, or however you measure for the 1/4 inch. And you might want to make your stitch length a little smaller if you want to. I'm just going to leave it. But just because this can easily unwind. So 1/4 inch straight across. Boom, done. Now, if you have a lot of these, keep that in there and just chain piece through. But now this is what you have. So when you're in this, when you have this, what I do is I cut off. Now this is the folded edge, and this is the raw edge. So you can see this is the open edge, and this is the folded edge. So I kind of trim off this little extra, thread. And then from here, I just cut a little bit at the tip there. Just a little bit to make it more of an angle. And so that when you flip this over, that fabric doesn't build up right here, like it doesn't get all bulky, and you can actually get a nice point. Now, if you bought the kit, you're going to have a turning tool like this. You don't have to have this. You can use whatever works, but this has a little pointed edge. Make sure you don't stick this through too hard so that it pops through the fabric. But you want to make sure that so this is the back side, that is now even. Okay? So here's the front. And now that's how easy it is to make these Dresden plates. It looks difficult, but look how easy that is. Okay? Now I just hot iron this flat so that, now mine looks a little bit wonky. See, this side and this side's a little bit wonky, and that might happen. So you want to go back and make sure that's even so that it becomes equal sides. So see how that's better? Okay, so you just want to make sure that is, and that is another reason why you fold it in half. So let me just tell you, let me back up a little bit. The reason why you fold it in half is so that you know where center line is, okay? So I fold that in half. I know where center line is. So this stitch line should be directly in the same line as that center folded line. So you know when this line, the stitch line, is in the same center line, then you know this angle and this angle are going to be equal. Okay? All right. And then I can iron that. And if you dry press it all the way out, that crease in the center comes out. And then there you go. Now you have a Dresden blade. Okay? So when you have a bunch of these, you stick them together. Here, let's do this. So you have a bunch of these. When you sew them together, you sew another 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you put right sides together, and then you line up the edges right there. Line up this edge. So you line up these corners, and then these should meet. Like it should be pretty much identical, right? And then you line up the sides. And this is the side I'm going to do my 1/4 inch seam allowance on. Okay, so I'm going to put this through the machine again, right here. And I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to do a back stitch just because this is the folded edge, and I don't want that to come undone. And now I'm following this edge straight down, and, oh, there we go, straight down. And then when I get to the bottom, I cut that, and then when you open it up, there you go. And then you put a bunch of these together, and you can actually make a ring because it's not going to go straight. This isn't like a fence. It doesn't go straight across. It starts to curve. It creates a circle. And so that's how you get the turkey tail fan. So there you go. So there's a Dresden. Now you can do another one. Just put another one on here. We're going to do the same thing. So when you get your other piece, flip right sides together, line up the corner. I don't necessarily line up the top, but I line up the corner and I line up this edge. And then I turn it around and I start at the top, and a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I make a few stitches, I go back. There we go. I make a few stitches, I back stitch, and then just work your way down that straight side right there. It's going to be at an angle, so you see how this is at an angle. It's supposed to be that way because the top is wider than the bottom. And then when you get to the bottom, again, bingo, you open that up. Now you can see the curve starting. You can see the curve starting here. So when you get all these around, you're going to have a complete circle. And now in the center is going to be empty. So these are not going to be touching all the way around. It's going to be empty. And that is where you put your circle. So, and that's going to be a different video. But this, I just wanted to show you how easy it was to make a Dresden plate with a cardboard template, homemade, or you can use the plastic one store-bought. And then all you have to do, fold it in half. So 1/4 inch. Here, let me grab this again. Just to backtrack, you sew 1/4 inch, fold this together, right sides together. So you fold it right sides together. You can crease it down the center if you want, 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then when you open that up, you cut off a little bit of the top here, right at the fold. Now, don't cut through the stitch line, of course, because the stitches are, oops, here you are, because the stitches are holding the fabric together. So you don't want to cut through that fabric or the thread. But then once you trim a little bit of extra off there, turn it inside out. You can use a chopstick, you can use a pencil tip, you can use whatever, kind of something dull, but don't poke all the way through if you don't have a turning tool. And then make sure that the center stitch line is centered on the rest of the tail. You can hot iron that down in place, and then boom, now you have your Dresden plate. Okay, and then again, you just take it to the rest of the ones that you have, line it up on here, on the corner, on the flat surface, and then I do like to start at the folded edges when I sew, so that might mean that I have to flip it over, and then 1/4 inch seam allowance, start there, a few stitches. I always back stitch to hold that in place, and then follow the straight edge down at 1/4 inch, which means this is your, now you see it's starting to form a circle, and then trim, open that up, and there you go. Now what I like to do is iron these seam allowances all in the same direction, so they all go in the same direction. Okay, so I just hot iron those down in place, and boom, now you can see it's starting to form a circle. Fantastic. I hope you guys have fun making these Dresden plates. If you have any questions on that, let me know in the comments below. And this you will see in the next project real soon for our November block of the month. All right, you guys, stay tuned. I'll be back real soon. Bye.